Okay, so facts, considering you people are too dumb to read it. Giovanni Consalvo. He's from South Australia. Yep, same area. Well, not same area, but South Australia is where my stepfather's family's from too. Like my stepbrother, Daniel Rackley, who moved to Tamworth in 95. Okay? Giovanni Consalvo's name is Jonathan Craig or Johnny Consalvo. His mother, Dawn Carpenter, Scottish convict, told me that he changed his name to Geo when he moved to Sydney. When I met him, he hadn't lived in Sydney 11 years. So everything that you guys are getting from my mother's bullshit. Okay, she's doing it to try and force me. Okay, you're going to make someone pay for it? Yep. I've lived most of my life in the city. I lived over 27 years in the city. And I grew up in the suburbs of Sydney, spending my time growing up in the city. I barely lived in Tamworth. My mother moved there with her second husband. I went up there for 6 years and moved back home to Sydney. You've made up stories to push a narrative and agenda. There is no copying people. My dad's father, Stanley Fleming, is not born in Australia. He's raised in Botany Bay by Edith Kavanagh. What I've said about him is facts. My dad's mother, Ruby Jean Hills, born in Five Dock, raised in Abbotsford. Her father's from Woollahra. Well, her father's technically from Dunedin, New Zealand, but moved to Woollahra when he was a kid or something. That's why Ada Gray, my grandmother's mother, and Frank Edward Hill, my grandmother's father's, married in Woollahra because that's where my grandmother's father was. Okay? Not from Tamworth, still. Didn't copy people. Okay, this all started with a fucking abo in 2015. I learned French at high school, not Indonesian, Amanda. French. Indonesian wasn't part of the curriculum until Miss Campbell wanted to put it into it. French was always part of the curriculum. Miss Craig, Miss Davis, two French teachers Our Lady of the Rosary College had, and they were long-standing French teachers. We had two French teachers, Miss Craig and Miss Davies, long-standing French teachers who taught French at Our Lady of the Rosary College. In 1992 in Year 7 and 1993 in Year 8, I learnt French under Miss Davis. Miss Craig was my music teacher. Okay, there. I started learning, Latin was taught, and Father, I can't think of the nun's name, but Father O'Grady he was part of the ones that taught Latin, not just him, it wasn't him solely, because the nuns and the ones that took us up to see where the Eucharist was being made before we made our first Holy Communion at St. Aidan's, which is where we started in Rooty Hill Primary School, St. Aidan's Roman Catholic School in 1984. We were there until the 23rd of March in 1989. Latin was taught in school. It was part of the Roman Catholic religion. So was the translation of the Bible from Hebrew, Aramaic, and actually even I think there was a bit of Greek, but it was mainly Hebrew and Aramaic is what we learned. Hebrew words such as Baruch atah Adonai, because of the Old Testament and the New Testament. If you're raised in the school that I went to, in a Roman Catholic school during those period of times, you learned the Old Testament and the New Testament, and the translation of the Bible, and the translation for time, the translation for language and history, and so forth. It's part of your education. It's just a fucking education. There's that. So language has been part of my life. Italian was, I always say 1995, but technically I started learning Italian before Judy Ball had a stroke. I think she had a stroke in 1994. It was to do with my Year 10 art major. But if I was ever going to make it in the art world, you had to learn Italian. Judy Ball will tell you that. Okay, if you're going to make it in the art world, and people that actually are creators in art galleries, like in the UK, if you ever watch that, they know how to speak Italian. They have to read it. Okay, if you're going to make it, because I was going out of high school to study fine arts, which I did at TAFE College, fine arts certificate in 1996, you need to learn languages. So I started Italian, not because of any family heritage or history, but because of art. So that's where I started learning off any copying. And I wasn't a tea drinker, I was a coffee drinker. All my family were coffee drinkers. Okay, why you people want to make up bullshit stories? Like I said, the photos across social media I've put up, and I've put a timeline, because the bullshit that's been said in the last 11 years doesn't match the timeline from when I've met people. A great example of this is I met Sam Delati for the first time, and I know it was, how can you tell? Because it was the week of it was around the time of the last episode of Big Brother in 2001. And that would have been around August. It was cold. It would have been around August 2001. That's how I know. Because he was doing the finale party at his place and he invited people, and I only just met Sam then. It's the first time I ever met Sam Delati. So it was around August 2001. It was the first time I'd met him. Okay? It was the last episode of Big Brother. And I went, I think, with Alan Curry. And we went over and we watched Big Brother, the last episode together. That's how. So it was that whole week of watching the whole sort of first series of that Big Brother thing. That's how I know. Okay? So it would have been around that time. I started the casino in March 2001. First time I did hosting, like actual full-on, properly hosting events was in 1999 for the Powerhouse, okay, in Tamworth. Right? There's a newspaper article with me there. Art, design, it's all there. So I've got documents that back me up. Horse riding was equestrian. I played soccer growing up. I gave up soccer when Mum moved to Tamworth. The last game that I played professionally was in 1988 because we moved in April 1989. I played soccer my entire life. Then Mum moved and I just stuck with my horse riding because I didn't have soccer. I'm a soccer player. I was interested in soccer. I was interested in Juventus and Italian teams because they were on top, back in the 80s. Okay, that's who I went for because I followed soccer. I didn't follow rugby league. I followed soccer. My mother wants to stand back and, we're all rugby league in this family. Carol, I don't really care what you were. I don't give a shit what you like as a taste of music. I don't care about what your interests are. I don't give a shit about what any of my family members are like. For a great example, I know what my dad likes in music from the 80s, not what it's now, but it was always Joe Jackson. What was it? Step It Out. There was that one, Sign Your Name Across My Heart. That singer. What he used to have on vinyls. I knew what my dad was like. I know his favourite music, but I don't care. What you like's what you like. What I like's what I like. I don't give a shit. Okay? Oh, our family's not like this. No. Okay. You're not like that. Don't speak for everybody. For example, my taste in jazz and classical came from my exposure to it at a young age. And my great-grandmother loved jazz and my great-uncle loved classical. It came from exposure. Listen, my grandmother Lola, her favourite. Now, everyone can confirm this. What was the statue that Nan had in the living room on the pedestal? Louis Armstrong. What was one of my Nan's favourite singers? Louis Armstrong. Summertime was one of her favourite songs by Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. Summertime was one of Lola May's favourite songs, which is why I play it for my dog Baxter. Okay, it was her favourite song. Now, my own ex-partner, Giovanni Consalvo, knows that. That's Justin's grandmother's favourite song. What's his grandmother's favourite flower? The yellow rose. The friendship rose. Who else can confirm this? John Cabino. Why? Because they saw that my grandmother was the closest family member to me in my life. They saw what my grandmother liked. My partners that were actually my long-term partners. Okay? John Cabino, when we were out shopping once, he goes, get the miniature roses, and I planted them all along the wall there outside the kitchen in Surrey Hills, and they were the yellow rose for Nan. We're trying to get the miniature yellow roses to grow for Nan. Okay? John Cabino can confirm. Giovanni Consalvo can confirm. What does Mum know? Nothing. Nothing. Unless it's about the horses, she doesn't know. Okay? Now, they're the facts. Oh, John Cabino used to make, so every time my nan was coming to stay, he used to bring a duffel bag, come over and stay for his mother, stay at my place in Surrey Hills, and used to make my nan vanilla slice. It was her favourite. And then John Cabino, if he wants to be truthful to me, I don't care. Oh, you hate me because I left you? I don't care. All I'm asking for you is to tell the fucking truth. So Nan was telling John about her grandmother's house in Bellevue Hill. Okay, but it was actually her grandmother's sister's house. So I'm not going to split hairs here. We know who his house it was. It was Annie Williams Shalkner, who she was talking about, which is her cousin Gary Williams' grandmother. Gary Williams' father's Tommy Williams. They lived in Bellevue Hill. There was the rich side of Nan's family. Gary Williams is gay. I haven't seen Gary Williams since 2003. He's probably dead. He sold that big house back in, I don't know, like when his grandmother died because it was too large in the marriage. I know this because he told me himself. Nan was introducing, when Nan was wanting me to talk to him at Auntie Margaret Keegan's funeral. Okay. So anyway, Nan's telling my partner, John Cabino, John, and talking about fried scones. That she used to travel on the tram from Leichhardt to Bellevue Hill, get off there and have fried scones with her grandmother. So John spent all day trying to recreate the fried scones. It didn't work, but he put a good effort into it. So to get it to what my nan remembered as a child. That's how nice my partner was. My mum wouldn't do something like that. She's a fucking piece of shit, my mother. Okay? So that's what my partner was doing for my grandmother. And every time she came, it was always like the sweets that my nan liked, like the vanilla slice. I used to make that for my nan. We had that fridge out the back. So stop your fucking lies, Carol. The amount of scams that she's done. Yeah, I'm sorry, is it a mentally retarded scam or is it a child molestation scam? Is it a carer's scam? Home care scam? Which one is it, Carol? Mental health scam? How many? Because you have just lied continuously since you got with Mark Rackley. There is no truth. And then when it comes to, how did they get the twins' surname incorrectly? Why do they start calling them Rackley? I mean, their mother would correct it. My mum goes, it's the people here. They got it wrong. So she puts it back onto you. She lies and then blames you. So all you people that thought our surname was Rackley, even though I corrected you and said our surname is Fleming, you didn't believe me because my mum's a scamming little scummy cunt. She's now put a blame onto you and said, they did it. It was them. It was them. I didn't. Yeah, that's what she does. No, it was them. They got it wrong. Not me, not Carol. No, Carol's a compulsive liar. Okay, and that's the truth. Same as when she tells people, because she did this the day of Nan's funeral. That's it. I mean, hey, if I wasn't going to speak to Amanda after 2017, I definitely wasn't going to speak to her again after Nan's funeral. The way she's now sucking up my mother's ass, you can fuck off, Amanda. My hair, even in for Amanda's wedding photo in May 2006, I stepped out of the shower. Didn't have time to do it. I wasn't going to straighten it for the wedding anyway. Let it go natural like this with no product in it, and it just is wavy. If I'm going to have straight hair, I've got to do what I've done to it my entire life, which means it was paste, it was gel, it was brushed down straight with a coarse hairbrush, it was tied back and it was sprayed with hairspray. My hair is exactly like Mark Fleming's, exactly like the Fleming side when it comes to waviness. Okay? There. Because that's what it actually is naturally. So, Nan's funeral. Okay, 2018. She kept stopping me from having a shower. I've got like 10 minutes to jump in a shower. I wet my hair, put the clothes on, get downstairs, and she's on the phone to someone going, he's in there curling his hair. I'm like, fucking lying, cunt you are, Carol. I didn't even do my hair. I stepped out of the shower, which means when I step out of the shower and don't do it, it's going to be wavy because it is naturally wavy, curly hair. For me to have straight hair, I've got to do it straight like I've been doing my entire life. Okay, it's naturally wavy fucking hair. Then she wanted to do a scam on the day of her mother's funeral. First of all, we're going out because Nan and Pop, all the rest of the family is buried in the Field of Mars in the city, but they started with Pop being the Garden Cemetery in Minchinbury. So, because this whole he doesn't remember bullshit scam that they're doing because the brain injury. No, it's just taking an injury and changing the actual injuries that I've sustained from it to suit my mother. She was doing this since I had the injury. So it's wrong diagnosis of an injury. Okay, there was no memory loss at all. But if you read the notes, it says Justin's mother. Justin's partner said. But did Justin say it? No. Justin never said he had memory loss. Justin was furious by the time this came around with Michelle Rodriguez and played a prank on Michelle Rodriguez. So then going out, so Carol's doing her little scam. First of all, we're going the direction where there would be no traffic. Then she's like, I don't want to pay for tolls. I'm like, okay, but then we have to go this way. Then it was like, oh, I don't know this way. Well, I'm going to go Victoria Road. It's like, how many directions are you going to change to get to your mother's funeral? We're going this direction. You don't want to go this way. You want to pay tolls. We're going this way. No, don't want to go this way. Then you want to go Victoria Road. Why do you want to go Victoria Road to get to Mitchambury? Okay, Mum was doing it. I'm telling Amanda, Mum's doing this deliberately. She goes, I don't care. Fuck off, Amanda. You're a fucking cunt. Fuck off. I mean it. I hate your guts. You know what Mum's like? You are exactly Carol. Amanda, I fucking hate you. I do. That won't change. Have a good life, Amanda. Oh, you were brainwashed and turned into our mother. You're a piece of shit. Christy Childs can confirm how Amanda's behaviour was. Spitting image of Carol. What you did on the day of Nan's funeral was fucking disgusting. Mum's little scam. Your whole lot, your little bullshit scam. Fuck off. You fucking did. Oh, tequila. You're a fucking loser, Amanda. You've always been a little Carol. Little cunt Carol. Now, after 2018, after what I saw in 2017 without Stephanie DeSalas, after what I saw in 2018, Nan's funeral, fuck off, Amanda. Like, I don't want another Carol in my life, you piece of shit. Simple. So this was all another fucking scam. It's like, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm doing this. We're going down this way. I'm like, I'm called Amanda. I said, Mum's deliberately trying to make us late to the funeral. She's lied about me. I don't care. That's what Amanda said. It's like, oh, of course you wouldn't, Amanda. No, because you've never been an honest person. Amanda, my twin sister, has never been honest. She just does what Carol tells her to do. She's not very honest. Okay, not someone that I would ever say I could rely on. Just does what Carol tells her to do. Same thing. That's why Amanda has no personality. Oh, what is Amanda like? Ask Mum. What do you mean? Well, she doesn't do anything that Mum doesn't do. She's like, I mean, my life growing up, I played soccer. Rode equestrian horses, had other interests. After school activities, I was doing modelling, visual merchandising, styling, downtown interiors, painted the library mural. There was dance lessons. I did musicals. Acting. So I had a life and a lifestyle. Amanda didn't. She didn't. I learned languages. I did everything that was different. Like, I stood out different to the rest of my family. My music choice was classical, symphony orchestra, and jazz. So my music choice outside of my genre of what I grew up in. I grew up in the 80s music, so I love 80s. The 90s, so I love 90s. Now, the modern music of now I love. But separate to that is jazz, symphony orchestra, classical music. Okay, musicals, music, because these are all interests of mine. Okay, what does Amanda interest in? What Carol tells her. What Carol likes, Amanda likes. Who Carol keeps as friends? Sorry, Amanda keeps as friends. What Carol does for sport, Amanda does it for sport. Where Carol lives, Amanda has to live. She has no personality. She is no person. She is Carol. I don't live my life like that. I'm my own person. Thank you. So I had all these other interests and hobbies, and did other family members have them? Yes. I mean, my dad played baseball growing up, not cricket. He played baseball. Dad was a really good baseball player. His next sport was deep sea scuba diving. Okay? That's what my dad, Mark Fleming, did, and he's a builder. Creativity runs through the family. He's a builder. There's designers in the Fleming side. My cousin, Jeff Williams, on the Fleming side. So Auntie Sharon, Dad's sister's son, he's a town designer. There's right through. All right? We're all different. The upbringing's not the upbringing. Oh, we didn't do this growing up. It's not greyhound therapy, Carol. And you can knock your bullshit off. You guys can pay me back my life. My money, my assets, my belongings, my life. Carol did another scam. Yeah, Carol was going to stop doing a scam. And Giovanni Consalvo was supposed to call Belinda Jeffries and tell Belinda Jeffries everything that Nan had told him throughout the years, and tell her to ring her Russian friend Ush, because Giovanni, Craig, Consalvo and myself is going to need Ush to go and speak to my mother, because we know what's going to happen when Nan dies. Exactly what Mum's doing right now. And that's the truth. In 2017, Giovanni Consalvo was meant to be calling Belinda Jeffries to get Ush involved. That was the only thing we ever needed from you, Belinda. We don't need much penalty when it comes to drugs. We needed Ush because the only way to have a life, we needed somebody to speak to my mother. I will stand in front of a magistrate and say that. Enough, okay? This has gone too far. I've backed up everything in my entire life and I'm still gaslighted. Gaslight me all you want. I want anything to do with you. Okay, like I said, as a kid, I spent... Oh, wait, Ronaldo Santos goes, oh, because I introduced you to that... What was it? The Turkish restaurant. No, you didn't. I'm not from a country town. You fucking did not. I never knew you when I was going to that Turkish restaurant. Down here on the corner of Elizabeth Street and Cleveland Street, I used to go there when I was working in Parramatta. I never knew you in the year 2000, you liar. So, and I didn't know you in 1995 either. These restaurants I used to go to in Surrey Hills, I've got photos of back in 1995. Now, the Turkish place up here on Cleveland Street, I used to go to when I was working, and I'll tell you who can confirm that, Rachel Simmons. This is where I've said what these people have said isn't true because you're not matching the timeline of events. You're not matching any timeline of events. I'm working at the Gazebo Hotel, Church Street, Parramatta in the year 2000, the beginning of the year 2000. Rachel Simmons, I used to hang out with then. Rachel Simmons, I helped move. She went from Parramatta. It was myself, Azif, Michael Renkins. We helped her move from Parramatta to down near where the Blacktowns train station is, not far from my grandmother's place in the suburbs. Then her brother Wesley stayed living there and Rachel moved into Bondi. I used to hang out with Rachel in Bondi. All of my friends from Parramatta, including Chantel Sharma, whatever happened to her? We were really close. She used to have that little maroon Celica. That's two-door sports car, that's Celica. We used to hang out there at places right there, okay? Imads, whatever it was, and smoke the Agili. Okay, we were always here. I didn't know Sam Delatio or anyone from Star Casino then. I didn't meet you people until well after March 2001. So if I'm already there at these places before March 2001, how did you introduce me to it? That's what I'm fucking sick and tired of this scam. Don't use lies about me because I'll trump you every time. Plus the fact that we were always here in Surrey Hills. Okay, we had the horses up there in Moore Park. When that was the Royals and the Nationals, I used to ride my horse down to the Badenborough Hotel. Uncle Fred used to drink at the Badenborough Hotel. Uncle Fred's Leo Patrick Sayer. The Elephant Bar and Grill was there in the Devonshire and Crown Street. And I used to go there when it was the Elephant Bar and Grill. Then it changed to the Trinity Pub. Okay, I've lived most of my life in the inner city. I'm not from the country. So you're doing a scam, and I'm not going to let you do it.